score, and alert dashboards empower you to take charge of your financial future. Stay alert and make confident financial decisions. From business growth analytics to statistical telco data-based credit score and the portfolio scrub review, Tasdeeq is promoting financial inclusion while delivering quality, innovation, and social responsibility. Our advanced technology stack ensures high system availability with 99% redundancy across 2 Tier 3 data centers. Tasdeeq, Pakistan's first state bank licensed credit bureau, holds one of the largest, most comprehensive databases of 30.5 million unique borrowers, managing 137 million loan accounts data that keeps on growing. Our data is updated regularly by over 150 plus financial institutions, covering historical and current credit information that drives millions of lending decisions. Tasdeeq offers innovative credit reporting and scoring solutions, empowering businesses and individuals through products like Tasdeeq mobile app. You can easily check your credit score, review your credit history, and access your credit report anytime, anywhere, and stay informed. With deep expertise in financial services coupled with our cutting-edge technology stack including data warehousing, data lake, machine learning, and BI tools such as IBM Cognos and Power BI, we offer more robust credit decisioning solutions including credit scoring and advanced analytics. Together, Credit Information Report, Credit Score, and Alert dashboards empower you to take charge of your financial future. Stay alert and make confident financial decisions. From business growth analytics to statistical telco data-based credit score and the portfolio scrub review, Tasdeeq is promoting financial inclusion while delivering quality, innovation, and social responsibility. Our advanced technology stack ensures high system availability with 99% redundancy across 2 Tier 3 data centers. Tasdeeq, Pakistan's first state bank licensed credit bureau, holds one of the largest, most comprehensive databases of 30.5 million unique borrowers, managing 137 million loan accounts data that keeps on growing. Our data is updated regularly by over 150 plus financial institutions, covering historical and current credit information that drives millions of lending decisions. Tasdeeq offers innovative credit reporting and scoring solutions, empowering businesses and individuals through products like Tasdeeq mobile app. You can easily check your credit score, review your credit history, and access your credit report anytime, anywhere, and stay informed. With deep expertise in financial services coupled with our cutting-edge technology stack including data warehousing, data lake, machine learning, and BI tools such as IBM Cognos and Power BI, we offer more robust credit decisioning solutions including credit scoring and advanced analytics. Together, Credit Information Report, Credit Score, and Alert dashboards empower you to take charge of your financial future. Stay alert and make confident financial decisions. From business growth analytics to statistical telco data-based credit score and the portfolio scrub review, Tasdeeq is promoting financial inclusion while delivering quality, innovation, and social responsibility. Our advanced technology stack ensures high system availability with 99% redundancy across 2 Tier 3 data centers. Tasdeeq, Pakistan's first state bank licensed credit bureau, holds one of the largest, most comprehensive databases of 30.5 million unique borrowers, managing 137 million loan accounts data that keeps on growing. Our data is updated regularly by over 150 plus financial institutions, covering historical and current credit information that drives millions of lending decisions. Tasdeeq offers innovative credit reporting and scoring solutions, empowering businesses and individuals through products like Tasdeeq mobile app. You can easily check your credit score, review your credit history, and access your credit report anytime, anywhere, and stay informed. With deep expertise in financial services coupled with our cutting-edge technology stack including data warehousing, data lake, machine learning, and BI tools such as IBM Cognos and Power BI, we offer more robust credit decisioning solutions including credit scoring and advanced analytics. Together, Credit Information Report, Credit Score, and Alert dashboards empower you to take charge of your financial future. Stay alert and make confident financial decisions. From business growth analytics to statistical telco data-based credit score and the portfolio scrub review, Tasdeeq is promoting financial inclusion while delivering quality, innovation, and social responsibility. Our advanced technology stack ensures high system availability with 99% redundancy across to Tier 3 data centers. Tasdeeq, Pakistan's first state bank licensed credit bureau, holds one of the largest, most comprehensive databases of 30.5 million unique borrowers, managing 137 million loan accounts data that keeps on growing. Our data is updated regularly by over 150 plus financial institutions, covering historical and current credit information that drives millions of lending decisions. Tasdeeq offers innovative credit reporting and scoring solutions, empowering businesses and individuals through products like Tasdeeq mobile app. You can easily check your credit score, review your credit history, and access your credit report anytime, anywhere, and stay informed. With deep expertise in financial services coupled with our cutting-edge technology stack including data warehousing, data lake, machine learning, and BI tools such as IBM Cognos and Power BI, we offer more robust credit decisioning solutions including credit scoring and advanced analytics. Together, Credit Information Report, Credit Score, and Alert dashboards empower you to take charge of your financial future. Stay alert and make confident financial decisions. From business growth analytics to statistical telco data-based credit score and the portfolio scrub review, Tasdeeq is promoting financial inclusion while delivering quality, innovation, and social responsibility. Our advanced technology stack ensures high system availability with 99% redundancy across to Tier 3 data centers.
Dil mang povita langyavi मेरे घर दा सौखारा है हिमवासी दुख दे सूबेता जिला गम तसील जफा है चंद मील फिराक दे मौजे विच अगू हंझुआ दा दरिया है जिले शाकिर पार लिमण टप से अगू सामने साडी जा
Agriculture contributes about a quarter to our GDP, 1/3 of the labor force, and about 80% of our foreign exchange earnings. A large number, almost 90% of farmers in Pakistan are small farmers holding less than 12 acres of land. And with the amount of financing that's required, they get a negligible part of the total financing that's made in Pakistan for agriculture. As a result, their yields are pretty low. We are only producing about 25 to 50% of what the global averages are for wheat and rice and maize. The financing for the agriculture sector is limiting. Microfinance sector, which initially used to lend about 20-25% of its portfolio in agriculture, is now down to 10%.
ਜ਼ਿਮੀਂਦਾਰ ਵਿਚਾਰੇ ਅਨਪੜ੍ਹ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਕਪਾਹ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਸ਼ਾਹ ਮੰਗਦੀ ਆ ਇਹ ਯੂਰੀਆ ਮੰਗਦੀ ਆ ਫਾਸਫੋਰਸ ਮੰਗਦੀ ਆ ਨਾਈਟ੍रोजन ਮੰਗਦੀ ਆ ਕੋਈ ਪਤਾ नहीं है।
जिस मरतबा मकड़ी आई थी पहला साल वो भी मेरे पास था, जिस मरतबा फर्स्ट टाइम बारिशें शुरू हुई थी वो भी मेरे पास कपास थी और बस बारिशें तो फिर चल रही हैं उस वक्त से।
वक्त के साथ साथ एग्रीकल्चर इनपुट की प्राइसेस बहुत ज़्यादा हाई हो चुकी हैं, तो हमारे फार्मर का और हमारे कंट्री का सर्वाइवल सिर्फ इसी बात में है कि हम अपनी कॉटन की रिसर्च और डेवलपमेंट को मजबूत करें।
Agriculture is one sector where we identify that if we are able to provide farmers with loans, but in addition to that, provide them with technical assistance using technology and data. If we can provide them with access to inputs, both for harvesting, access to equipment that is available, and modern agriculture practices that are environmentally kosher and helps in more efficient use of pesticides and water. And for that, the challenge fund that we announced resulted in we partnering with an agtech called GrowTech, and with them we started the pilot of working with about 1,000 farmers, ensuring that they not only get loans but also are provided with guidance on appropriate use of seeds, fertilizers, inputs, more efficient water usage, and also linking them with corporates that can then secure their produce.
PMIC ने चैलेंज राउंड एडवर्टाइज किया था। दिस इज़ वेयर वी कोलैबोरेटेड एंड वी वर वेरी लकी कि हमने इस प्रोजेक्ट को सक्सेसफुली क्लोज किया।
PMIC द मेजर गोल है इस पूरे के पूरे जर्नी में और वेरी सपोर्टिव।
मेरा नाम शमशाद बीबी, ये इलाका हमारा है अपना बस्ती गुलामों रंग और हम साथ मिलजुल के काम करते हैं। सारी फसल पहले कने अच्छी थी भाई जान टाइम पे सब चीज़ मिल वेंदी स्प्रे वगैरह गंदम की फसल भी अच्छी थी गई हुण कपाह की फसल भी अच्छी है सारी।
पैसे देने की खर्च सीड स्प्रे खाद देने की कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है।
वो माशाल्लाह इस दफ़ा बहुत अच्छी उसकी ग्रोथ है, बहुत अच्छा फल है। कम से कम 100 टीला एक बूटे में लगा हुआ है। देखो जिसे 15-16 मन किसी 30-35 मन औसत आवे अस तो 20 मन से बड़े एगरी है 20 मन भी होवे साड़ी तो यही 15-14 15-16 मन उत्ते नहीं जाती ते हुण जिहड़ी आ मैं कहना दुआ भी।
तो हमारे पास जो सैटेलाइट बेस्ड टेक्नोलॉजी है उन्होंने हमारी रिसर्च को मज़ीद बेहतर करने के लिए हमें बहुत हेल्प दी है।
बीज प्रोवाइड किया ते तीसरे महीने की 10 तरीक को मैंने काश किया। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह बहुत अच्छा रिजल्ट आया।
We are now planning to venture into agriculture ecosystem with not just financing for small farmers but also financing both the pre-harvest and post-harvest activities, working with small farmers and linking them with input suppliers, with financing their need for machinery and equipment, and also then linking them with markets that can then secure their produce. We've already started our work in warehouse to seed financing.
We have over 100 microfinance institutions and microfinance banks across 90 districts of Pakistan. Through this funding, we are serving over 800,000 clients, especially women.
PMIC has more than 30 billion rupees of funding outstanding. Mostly it goes to women, those funds, almost 85% of that, and more than 50% in rural areas. And these are the two segments where most of the poverty is. The impact that we want to create is for these segments of the society, improving their lives, improving their income, and reducing poverty.
Pakistan's agriculture, a cornerstone of our economy, holds the key to a brighter future. PMIC aims to uplift farmers, ensure food security, and contribute to the nation's prosperity.
दिल मंग पवी तां लंघ आवी मेरे घर दा सौखारा है हिमवासी दुख दे सूबे ता जिला गम तसील जफा है चंद मील फिराक दे मौजे विच अगू हंझुआ ता दरिया है जिल शाकिर पार लिमण टप से अगू सामने साडी जा
Agriculture contributes about a quarter to our GDP, 1/3 of the labor force, and about 80% of our foreign exchange earnings. Large number, almost 90% of farmers in Pakistan are small farmers holding less than 12 acres of land. And with the amount of financing that's required, they get a negligible part of the total financing that's made in Pakistan for agriculture. As a result, their yields are pretty low. We are only producing about 25 to 50% of what the global averages are for wheat and rice and maize. The financing for the agriculture sector is limiting. Microfinance sector, which initially used to lend about 20-25% of its portfolio in agriculture, is now down to 10%.
ਜ਼ਿਮੀਂਦਾਰ ਵਿਚਾਰੇ ਅਨਪੜ੍ਹ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਕਪਾਹ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਸ਼ਾਹ ਮੰਗਦੀ ਆ ਇਹ ਯੂਰੀਆ ਮੰਗਦੀ ਆ ਫਾਸਫੋਰਸ ਮੰਗਦੀ ਆ नाइट्रोजन ਮੰਗਦੀ ਆ ਕੋਈ ਪਤਾ नहीं है।
जिस मरतबा मकड़ी आई थी पहला साल वो भी मेरे पास था। जिस मरतबा फर्स्ट टाइम बारिशें शुरू हुई थी वो भी मेरे पास कपास थी और बस बारिशें तो फिर चल रही हैं उस वक्त से।
वक्त के साथ साथ एग्रीकल्चर इनपुट की प्राइसेस बहुत ज़्यादा हाई हो चुकी हैं, तो हमारे फार्मर का और हमारे कंट्री का सर्वाइवल सिर्फ इसी बात में है कि हम अपनी कॉटन की रिसर्च और डेवलपमेंट को मजबूत करें।
Agriculture is one sector where we identify that if we are able to provide farmers with loans, but in addition to that, provide them with technical assistance using technology and data. If we can provide them with access to inputs, both for harvesting, access to equipment that is available, and modern agriculture practices that are environmentally kosher and helps in more efficient use of pesticides and water. And for that, the challenge fund that we announced resulted in we partnering with an ag tech called GrowTech, and with them we started the pilot of working with about 1,000 farmers, ensuring that they not only get loans but also are provided with guidance on appropriate use of seeds, fertilizers, inputs, more efficient water usage, and also linking them with corporates that can then secure their produce.
PMIC ने एक चैलेंज राउंड एडवर्टाइज किया था. दिस इज़ वेयर वी कोलैबोरेटेड एंड वी वर वेरी लकी कि हमने इस प्रोजेक्ट को सक्सेसफुली क्लोज किया.
PMIC द मेजर गोल है इस पूरे के पूरे
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम अल्हाकुमुत्तकासुर हत्ता ज़ुरतुमुल मक़ाबिर कल्ला
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you all for being here on time and thank you for being so patient. We are currently waiting for the arrival of our guest of honor, Mr. Salimullah. He's the Deputy Governor, State Bank of Pakistan. We're expecting him, inshallah, by 5:45. If he's unable to make it, we shall begin at 5:45, inshallah. Once again, thank you for being so patient. Assalamu alaikum again, everyone. Just a little update. Our guest of honor, Mr. Salimullah, is on his way. So we request you all to be a little more patient for the next 10 to 15 minutes. And we're expecting to start by no later than 6 p.m., inshallah. Once again, thank you so much.
inputs, more efficient water usage, and also linking them with corporates that can then secure their produce.
PMIC ने चैलेंज राउंड एडवर्टाइज किया था. दिस इज़ वेयर वी कोलैबोरेटेड एंड वी वर वेरी लकी कि हमने इस प्रोजेक्ट को
पैसे देने की, खर्च, सीड, स्प्रे, खाद देने की कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है.
तो माशाल्लाह इस दफ़ा बहुत अच्छी उसकी ग्रोथ है, बहुत अच्छा फल है. कम से कम 100 टीला एक बूटे ਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਾ ਹੋਇਆ. देखो जिसे 15-16 मन किसी 30-35 मन औसत आवे. अस तो 20 मन से बड़े एगरी है, 20 मन भी होवे. साड़ी तो यही 15-14, 15-16 मन उत्ते नहीं जाती. तो हुण जिहड़ी आ मैं कहना दुआ भी नहीं, हुण ये हुण मैं माला माल हो जाना.
तो हमारे पास जो सैटेलाइट बेस्ड टेक्नोलॉजी है, उन्होंने हमारी रिसर्च को मज़ीद बेहतर करने के लिए हमें बहुत हेल्प दी है.
बीज प्रोवाइड किया ਤੇ ਤੀਸਰੇ ਮਹੀਨੇ ਦੀ 10 ਤਰੀਕ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਕਾਸ਼ ਕੀਤਾ. ਅਲਹਮਦੁਲਿਲਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਅੱਛਾ ਰਿਜ਼ਲਟ ਆਇਆ.
We are now planning to venture into agriculture ecosystem with not just financing for small farmers but also financing both the pre-harvest and post-harvest activities, working with small farmers and linking them with input suppliers, with financing their need for machinery and equipment, and also then linking them with market for their produce. We've already started our work in warehouse to seed financing.
We have over $100 million portfolio with 26 microfinance institutions and microfinance banks across 90 districts of Pakistan. Through this funding, we are serving over 800,000 clients, especially women.
PMIC has more than 30 billion rupees of funding outstanding. Mostly it goes to women, those funds, almost 85% of that, and more than 50% in rural areas. And these are the two segments where most of the poverty is. The impact that we want to create is for these segments of the society, improving their lives, improving their income, and reducing poverty.
Pakistan's agriculture, a cornerstone of our economy, holds the key to a brighter future. PMIC aims to uplift farmers, ensure food security, and contribute to the nation's prosperity.
Tasdeeq, Pakistan's first state bank licensed credit bureau, holds one of the largest, most comprehensive databases of 30.5 million unique borrowers, managing 137 million loan accounts, data that keeps on growing. Our data is updated regularly by over 150 plus financial institutions, covering historical and current credit information that drives millions of lending decisions. Tasdeeq offers innovative credit reporting and scoring solutions, empowering businesses and individuals through products like Tasdeeq mobile app. You can easily check your credit score, review your credit history, and access your credit report anytime, anywhere, and stay informed. With deep expertise in financial services coupled with our cutting-edge technology stack including data warehousing, data lake, machine learning, and BI tools such as IBM Cognos and Power BI, we offer more robust credit decisioning solutions including credit scoring and advanced analytics. Together, Credit Information Report, Credit Score, and Alert dashboards empower you to take charge of your financial future. Stay alert and make confident financial decisions. From business growth analytics to statistical telco data-based credit score and the portfolio scrub review, Tasdeeq is promoting financial inclusion while delivering quality, innovation, and social responsibility. Ensures high system availability with cost to Tier 3.
ਦਿਲ ਮੰਗ ਪੋਵੀ ਤਾਂ ਖਾਰਾ ਹੈ ਹਿਮਵਾਸੀ ਦੁੱਖ ਦੇ ਸੂਬੇ ਤਾ ਜ਼ਿਲ੍ਹਾ ਗਮ ਤਹਿਸੀਲ ਜਫਾ ਹੈ ਮੀਲ ਫਿਰਾਕ ਦੇ ਮੌਜ਼ੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤਾ ਦਰਿਆ ਸ਼ਾਕਿਰ ਪਾਰ ਲਿਮਣ ਟੱਪ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਜਾ
Agriculture contributes about a quarter to our GDP, 1/3 of the labor force, and about 80% of our...
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Very pleased to say that we are about to begin. This is requesting all of you to please take your seats so we may begin. Thank you, everyone. Kindly take your seats. Thank you so much. Everyone to please take their seats, and we would like to begin, please. Thank you so much. Everyone at the back as well, please. Thank you so much. final request, please, to everyone to please take their seats. Those who are not seated will not be served dinner. That's a highlight of the evening, so I think you'd like to take your seats, please. Thank you. Let's begin. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Thank you once again for waiting. Ms. Faris Khalid, I will be tomorrow and the day after. On behalf of Pakistan Microfinance Network, I'd like to welcome you all to the 8th Microfinance Network Conference. Once again, thank you all for being here. We have a panel of wonderful discussion. We're already networking, that's wonderful. We would like to begin with the recitation of the Holy Quran. I would like to... Are we doing a recording? We are playing a recording of the Holy Quran.
ألهاكم التكاثر المقابر كلا سوف تعلمون ثم كلا سوف تعلمون كلا لو تعلمون يقين لترون الجحيم إنها عين اليقين ثم لتسأل يومئذ عين
We will now the work that has been done, followed
ਦਿਲ ਮੰਗ ਪੋਵੀ ਤਾਂ ਲੰਘ ਆਵੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਘਰ ਦਾ ਸੌਖਾਰਾ ਹੈ ਹਿਮ ਸੁਬੇਤਾ ਦਿਲਾ ਗਮ ਚੰਦ जले शाकिर पार लिमण टप से
Agriculture contributes about a quarter to one-third of the labor force. A large number, almost 90% of farmers in Pakistan are small farmers holding less than 12 acres of land. And with the amount of financing that's required, part As a result, we are only producing about 25 to 50% of what the global averages are for wheat and rice and maize. The agriculture sector is limited, about 20-25%. Culture is
सारी बात किड़ी शाह नहीं है
जिस मर्तबा वो भी मेरे पास शुरू हुई थी, वो भी मेरे पास, बस बारिशें तो फिर चल रही हैं उस वक्त से।
हमारे अपनी डेवलपमेंट को मजबूत करें।
agriculture is where we identify that farmers with loans both access to equipment and this is currently kosher and helps in pesticides. And for that, the resulted in ensuring low guidance, seeds, fertilizers, inputs, more, and also with use.
collaborated कि हमने इस
मेजर गोल है इस पूरे जर्नी में।
नाम शमशाद बीबी, और हम
स्प्रे खाद देने की
बहुत अच्छी ਉਹਦੀ ग्रोथ है, बहुत अच्छा फल है, कम से कम 100 टीला एक बूटे ਨੂੰ लगा हुआ है। अस तो 20 मन से बड़े ऐसे नहीं है, 20 मन भी होवे साड़ी 15, 14, 15, 16 मन उतर जाती।
तो हमारे पास जो टेक्नोलॉजी है उन्होंने हमारी रिसर्च
बीज प्रोवाइड किया ते तीसरे महीने की 10 तरीक को मैं काश किया। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह बहुत अच्छा रिजल्ट आया।
We are now planning to venture into agriculture ecosystem with not just financing for small farmers but also harvest and post-harvest activities, working with small farmers and linking them with input suppliers, with financing their need for machinery and equipment, and also then linking them with markets that can then secure their produce We've already started our work in warehouse receipt financing.
We have over $100 million portfolio with 26 microfinance institutions and Pakistan. Through this funding, we are serving over 800,000 clients, especially women.
PMIC has more than 30 billion rupees of funding outstanding. Mostly it goes to women, those funds, almost 85% of that, and more than 50% in rural areas. And these are the two segments where most of the poverty is. The impact that we want to create is for these segments of the society, improving their lives, improving their income, and reducing poverty.
I will now like to request all of you to please stand up for the national anthem. Thank you. Pleased to invite Ali Khan, Chairman Pakistan. A round of applause, please. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me to speak today. Deputy Governor Sahab, Khalda Madam from SECP, unfortunately the chairman couldn't make it today. Today is an interesting day because I think the kind of turmoil we have seen in particularly the microfinance sector has been really daunting on all of us. We're challenged. We feel that we're not being supported the way we ought to be as a sector. What are we doing about it going forward? And that to me is really the challenge. So we need to basically look at stabilization and growth in this sector. And today I will try to hit some key areas which are basically policy level interventions, sector level interventions, funding gaps, which is the biggest pain today for all of us, and the need for new channels and new companies to come into play. Unfortunately, the state minister who was supposed to make it, and really that would have been really nice if he was here, because there is a lot of policy and also Madam Khalda from SECP will table it on my behalf to the right forums. And I'll From a policy level intervention, I think PMIC has conducted an in-depth survey and analyzing 4 countries, Peru and Philippines, to identify best practices and draw relevant lessons for Pakistan's microfinance sector. But what is most important is that there is a recognition of the microfinance sector at the highest level of government. Without that, I'm afraid we're going to go forward. So I truly believe that the recognition at the highest level is critical, without which we will not be able to move forward. Secondly, I feel the Finance Ministry needs to take the sector, linking it to SDGs and the government's social economic reform agenda. Now, without that, this SGD business is not going to happen. Speaking, microfinance sector is truly the heart of doing the SGDs, and without which I'm not too convinced that we will be able to achieve those targets that we have signed off on. Historically, the public sector support for microfinance has been largely through subsidy-driven, but it's time to change. This direct subsidy business has been a disaster for all of us. So it's time that we look at a more forward system like government-backed credit guarantees and directed lending. Now, I know State Bank hates the word directed lending, and Irfan साहब भी बैठे हैं और Deputy Governor साहब भी बैठे हैं. Other countries have done it. So I know we have those. There that people understand that this is required to raise. These mechanisms will encourage commercial banks, and I see some commercial banks sitting here. I see some FI heads sitting. They have to be encouraged to come into the play. The commercial sector needs to participate and reduce dependence on subsidies and promote healthy credit culture, such as guarantees to help focusing on more without which, I'm sorry, we really the population that deserves our support. We need to been able to hit because of lack of funding and or penetration levels. Salim Raza hates the word, which he was telling me yesterday, that don't use. I have used that. And this entire issue of climate risk and population density and low economic opportunities in areas like Balochistan, in KP, in GB, are really areas that you'll need to really focus on in order for you to sort of deepen the impact of this entire issue of financial inclusion and access. By the way, this has been very successfully been demonstrated in Bangladesh and India, where in addition to providing direct cash subsidies, the government offered guarantees to the sector and set lending limits for the commercial banks to lend to microfinance sector. Now, this approach transformed the microfinance sector landscape, mobilizing private sector at a large scale. So just visualize the impact it will have if you do that. There's a strong need for government to leverage the microfinance sector to achieve sustainable development goals. And it is exemplified by India and Bangladesh. So unless and until we start putting our heads together in pushing the agenda, I'm not too convinced that we'll be able to do it. In my opinion, sir, the government to support the sector, to expand like India did in its own program, which has been very successful. And it is imperative that, and I know State Bank is here, SCCP is here, but I'm going to say to you that we need one regulator for this sector. Without one regulator, you will not be able to achieve it. And we've seen the challenge between the two regulators. State Bank vis-a-vis the banks, it has the ability to provide their last resort lenders to them. SCCP is the regulator for MFIs, but does not have financial capacity to intervene and therefore depends on banks and or the central bank to come and play a role. Now that doesn't work. We've seen it. We saw it 2 years ago. We've seen the kind of NPLs we've seen, and we've seen, erosion of capital to the next level where it's become a major, major challenge. Now, a similar regulatory framework is currently followed in Bangladesh and India, Bolivia, Indonesia, Cambodia, and Kenya. So there is sufficient evidence available that suggests that one regulator for the microfinance sector will probably be able to provide a lot more guidance, both from a prudential point of view as well as from a control point of view. So it's critical that we start looking at it with an open mind. I mean, that would be my really biggest request from the policy aspect of this entire conversation. At the sector level, I think we understand the challenges, but at the same time, challenge and cross it over. So we need to think out of the box in trying to address that. And attract funding from impact investors. It is critical to change the narrative, the perception of. Everybody talks about loom and gloom in the microfinance. Positive about the sector. You, me, everybody sitting in this room. It is your sector. Bring it down. For this sector, and without which you won't, I can assure you. Challenges within our own, backyard, which we need to also are primarily related to governance and management issues. Those has been really critical. We've seen in both driven from the government, a rigorous credit capacity. That's something that I think Salim Raza yesterday, I said, frankly speaking, you've been a banker, I've been a banker, and there were some other bankers. We don't know how. And he said, you're spot on, Naveed. Lenders. We've always totally different paradigm. And then came the consumer banking side of the world, which was, in the mid-80s, alien to all of us. But then it's evolved and everybody burned their hands. Citi in particular burned its hand. And then we saw others burn their hands, but then it evolved. Then we came in with the thing here, and if you remember, we set up the ECIB, and Mansoor Saab was there, and we had a big challenge, and I actually sort of ran that initiative as PBA. And we brought in a control mechanism, we brought in ECIB became a very important element in streamlining it. Now we've got two, effectively, credit agencies. But I don't think the sector is using it effectively. So one person is borrowing from multiple banks, and you're not seeing the behavior pattern of that individual, and you're lending it to it again. So I think you need to scrub your, really understand residing in that particular segment. In Bangladesh, And compliance mechanism led to a healthier portfolio and greater confidence among commercial lenders. So really, the onus was on us to improve the governance, to improve the credit risk evaluation process, so that people who are going to lend to you as banks, as commercial entities, have confidence in your governance structure and your ability to evaluate risk. So that's very critical. That's on us as the MFIs, the MFBs, that we need to do. So unless we do it, it's not going to happen. Talking about shifting gears to really the pain point of this sector today, and that is funding gap. Everybody, I've had several conversations with Salimullah Sahab, and he's very open and he's very, very proactive. I'm extremely impressed by his openness towards trying to do something positive for the sector and understand the sector a little bit more. But the reality is that there is a huge gap of funding for us. And that gap of funding, as I said, State Bank can play the lender of last resort, but SCCP does not have that mandate and cannot play that for MFIs. So where do the MFIs go? So how do we address their funding gaps? Currently, the sector access to capital market is restricted, and the commercial banks are hesitant to extend credit due to perceived risk. And I understand that. I've sat on the other side. So the moral of the story here is we need to improve our credit standards and underwrite better risk so that there are low NPLs, and hence there is confidence of the banks to come in and support us commercially. In my also opinion, government needs to bring in more development funds from multilaterals, bilaterals, agencies. Additionally, the government needs to have targeted lending towards microfinance sector, especially for the rural areas, for women and the youth, and push the commercial banks on similar lines as you do for agri credit. You do it for agri credit. You tell them that this is your limit, this bank is supposed to deliver on this amount in the agri sector. I think you'll need to do it for the microfinance sector also, and particularly for these particular areas that I just talked to you about. We need to tap unconventional sources. We need to develop microfinance impact bonds. And I was just talking to Madam Khalda from SCCP, and we were talking about the impact bonds. We did one with NIT. Unfortunately, the takers were very limited. Now, either we have not educated and I now talk about the broader financial sector, the insurance companies, the pension funds, the mutual funds, and I saw the CEO of mutual fund also sitting here. So, those are the players who need to come into this particular segment of the market. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. Let me assure you that PMIC will play its role as an apex institution. We will come and support you as much as we can, given our own constraints, because we also borrow, but by the grace of Almighty, we've been able to establish a very strong credibility in the market. So we have access to funds, as a result of which we will be able to onward lend to you. And I know it's been a challenge. It's never sufficient for you. And only one entity cannot meet your needs, and that's for sure. So that's why I suggest, impact funds, which need to come in and actually look at the capital markets at large. But we will do our part without hesitation. Last but not least, a favorite area of mine, we need new institutions to come in. We've got 40 institutions operating in Pakistan, out of which only 20 have scale. The rest are not scaled. If I look at Bangladesh, India, they run in hundreds and thousands. So it just tells you where we are. Even Sri Lanka runs in hundreds for a country that small. And a country with 240 million people plus. We have 40, and out of which only 20 are at a scale that I can talk about. So I think there is a fundamental problem. And the fundamental problem comes in because we don't have any entity today to seed capital some of these initiatives. Initially, PPF used to do that, and most of these entities were seed capital from PPF and graduated to the next level. So until and unless you create, that's why I talked about equity fund. Without that, you won't be able to create new entities and improve the outreach and really penetrate in the areas that we have not been able to go. If I look at, where PMIC is trying to do, we have allocated a certain portion of our capital for purposes of seed capital to initiate new entities. And we are trying to do that. Or to support existing entities to expand them. Otherwise, it's not going to work. But we are only one entity. And our, obviously, board and shareholders have a view that, equity is not your core area of competencies. Therefore, you need to have a certain amount which you need to look at. So we are doing that, and we are trying to spearhead a lot of them. But we are also very particularly interested in expanding in Balochistan, KP, and GB, because we truly feel that these areas are neglected and have very low financial inclusion at this moment in time. So it is our endeavor to support a lot of these MFIs, MFPs hardly operating in these markets. Maybe the central bank can take a closer look at some of these banks as to what they're doing and how they should be doing it in that. Because unless we collectively start addressing these issues, I'm afraid, we will be talking about it every time we meet once a year and clap each other's back and say, hey, we did a great job. The reality is we're far from a great job. The reality is we need to all collectively get wiser and collectively work together, whether it's the regulator, whether it's the industry. Unless we, join hands and truly take it as a crusade, and if you truly believe in financial inclusion, and if you truly believe in achieving your SDGs, the game is not going to happen. Microfinance sector is, to me, a pivotal play for the government if they want to really look at, social impact and financial inclusion. With that many words, sir, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for giving me the time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Naved Khan. Some very interesting points. What I find most interesting actually alludes to a debate we're looking forward to tomorrow, which is looking at Pakistan versus comparable markets. I think that's something that a conversation that takes place in every context, whether it's sports or entertainment, even commerce and finance. So it's a very interesting point, and I look forward to that debate tomorrow. So thank you, sir, for touching upon it. I would now like to invite Mr. Amir Khan, the chairman, Pakistan Microfinance Network. Sir, please make your way to the stage. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Khan Saab, I know for a good 20 plus years, and he's been hard-hitting from day one that I know him. So many thanks, Khan Saab, for, in fact, the entire opening has put a new perspective to the opening of this thing. So, but well heard. I think there are many points which actually make something that as PMN and as a sector we need to actually take forward. I have a speech prepared. I'll go through that, but certainly some points that we just need to sort of really take into a challenge and then convert it into some action items. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, fellow participants and industry leaders, it is my great honor to welcome you all to the annual conference. I'm delighted to see such a distinguished gathering of the professionals, stakeholders who are deeply invested in the future of microfinance in Pakistan. Today's conference holds a very specific and critical purpose. We convene here at a pivotal moment following 4 challenging years marked by the global COVID pandemic, unprecedented floods, and significant macroeconomic turbulence. These events have tested our resilience as individuals and as an industry, but they have also underscored the importance of financial inclusion and access to credit for the most vulnerable segments of our society. However, the difficulties of the past must not deter us from looking forward. Today, as we stand in front of Pakistan's financial center, the Aya Chandigarh Road, often referred to as the Pakistani Wall Street, we do so not as a fragmented sector, but as 2 united segments, the banks and the microfinance institutions. Alongside us, the entire ecosystem that supports and represents our diversity is here. The regulators, the credit bureaus, rating agencies, commercial banks, insurance providers, apex bodies like the PMIC, and the approximately 40 active microfinance providers. As we embark on the next leg of growth, let us not lose sight of the immense opportunity before us. Today, we have reached an impressive 10.5 million active borrowers, but the potential is far, far greater, and the estimated size is 50 million individuals, of many of whom we have yet to even brought into the fold of financial inclusion. To double our outreach and meet this potential, we estimate the need of approximately over ₹1 trillion in additional funding, sourced from a combination of debt, equity, deposits. We deeply value the contributions of the bilateral and multilateral donors and investors such as the ADB, the World Bank, UNDP, USAID, FCDO, the IFC, JICA. Their continued support is pivotal in enabling us to scale and expand the reach of microfinance across Pakistan. However, this ambitious growth will not be possible without innovation, as Khan Saab also alluded to it, and adjustments needed across the sector. We need to rethink how we operate and embrace new models and strategies and technologies. That is the focus of our discussions here, as well as in the coming days and tomorrow at PSX, that how can we get the capital markets to actually support our funding growth. But let me just allude to one more pressing challenge in Pakistan's microfinance sector, that is the minimal consequence faced by the borrower in the event of default. This lack of accountability has driven a fundamental shift in client behavior, where the perceived risk of defaulting is extremely low. For many borrowers, there is little fear of damaging their creditworthiness or facing social repercussions, as the enforcement mechanisms for default are weak. Trust me, I've alluded to this in multiple forums, and everywhere I'm getting the element that it's going to be a tough thing that's going to take forward. But I think we need to start somewhere, because the institutions, the microfinance institutions, as rising default rates are significantly undermining their financial stability and sustainability. Addressing this behavioral shift through relevant policies is essential for ensuring the long-term viability of the microfinance industry. Critical to our success is the support of the federal provincial governments in addressing the taxation anomalies that are currently affecting the banks and the MFIs. We also seek enhanced access to NADRA's data systems and the broader availability of data for building algorithms and leveraging big data analytics. These tools are essential for making informed decisions, analyzing trends, and improving the efficiency of microfinance services. Furthermore, we must address the urgent need of building climate resilience financial structures. This is crucial, not only for securing funds, but also providing credit to the smallholder farmers, whose livelihoods are directly tied to our national food security. The support of our key regulators, the Central Bank, State Bank of Pakistan, and the SCCP remains vital in these efforts. We're grateful to the ADB, the World Bank, for reigniting their financing arrangements for the microfinance industry. The role of PMIC and commercial banks will be instrumental in structuring growth, capital markets, and funding. And we at PMN are committed to working alongside these institutions to provide the necessary data, insights, analysis, and inform strategic decision-making. But I think more than that, we need to ensure that PMN remains the leading body to which everyone addresses and interacts with, and that we commit to work with anyone in the industry to further the microfinance element, whether it's the national government, the local governments, any institution. I must emphasize this conference is more than just an opportunity to share achievements and challenges. It is a platform for collaboration. We are here to listen to your concerns, exchange ideas, find solutions that will drive the next wave of sustainable growth in our industry, a growth that benefits every player in the ecosystem. Together, let's start the journey of growth and build a future where financial inclusion is a reality for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Amir Khan. Round of applause, please. Thank you. Mr. Amir Khan had to make the welcome address, but due to an error on my part, I missed that. So, sir, I would like to extend my apologies to you. I'd like to move on to our next speaker who is not with us physically. This is a recorded address by Ms. Christine Ergstrom. She is the Senior Director of Finance Sectors Group at the Asian Development Bank. Do we have a video queued? Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this annual Microfinance Conference. My name is Christine Engstrom, and I'm in charge of ADB's Sovereign Sector Finance Operations. It's my pleasure to be here today. ADB is a very proud sponsor of this important microfinance summit of the Pakistan Microfinance Network. We've been a founding partner in the microfinance sector in Pakistan going back to the early 2000s, when ADB supported the setup of the Microfinance Ordinance and the creation of the first microfinance bank. ADB's experience shows that a healthy microfinance sector is critical to achieve sustainable economic development, particularly at the base of the pyramid. The microfinance sector today in Pakistan represents a true access to finance engine for micro and small enterprises. Encouragingly, the sector has doubled in size in the last 5 years and has proven to be very resilient, continuing its growth trajectory despite floods, locusts, and COVID. However, when we look at Pakistan's microfinance sector using regional benchmarks, we see a sector that is not reaching its full economic potential. Indeed, based on our estimates, the sector should be 4 times the size it is today. Equally concerning, particularly post-COVID, is the growing gender finance gap that has gone from 29% in 2019 now to 36% in 2023. And it's forecasted to deteriorate further to 42% by 2030 unless something is done to support access to finance for women. A leading factor for the increasing gender gap is really limited liquidity to the finance sector for microfinance caused by reduced risk appetite by commercial banks post-COVID. So since the microfinance sector is the largest driver of women's financial inclusion in Pakistan, accounting for about 63% of all loans advanced to women in the country, commercial bank risk aversion is really impacting women's access to a higher degree. ADB has designed its Women Inclusive Finance program to try and start reversing this trend through working across the gender finance ecosystem with the regulators and the policymakers. Moreover, this program also addresses the liquidity issues that we're seeing in the banking sector by providing a line of credit to stimulate growth in the women's portfolio. There's also an additional grant component to support innovation, experimentation, and piloting of new approaches to reach women. I would like to wish the conference all the success over the next few days and hope there's a lot of lively debate on the underlying issues and opportunities. Meanwhile, ADB stands ready to support a healthy and inclusive finance sector in Pakistan. Thank you.
Our next speaker, Mr. Mujtaba Ahmed Lodi, the Commissioner, Specialized Companies Division, Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan, is unfortunately not with us this evening due to a family emergency. We wish him all the very best. We are, though, happy to have Ms. Khalda Habib, the Executive Director, Head of Division, Specialized Companies Division, Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan, speaking to us next. Ms. Khalida Habib. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Deputy Governor, State Bank of Pakistan, Mr. Salimullah, Chairman, PMN, Mr. Amir Khan, esteemed speakers, participants, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you today, and it's indeed an honor to represent the Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan, a regulator that is deeply committed to advancing financial inclusion and gender diversity across all areas of our financial ecosystem. I must start by acknowledging Pakistan Microfinance Network for continuing its tradition of holding their inaugural annual conference and being a forward-looking industry association, engaging all stakeholders to shape the future of microfinance sector in Pakistan. I must comment that this year's conference title, Microfinance at II Chandigarh Road, the Wall Street of Pakistan, is indeed the road ahead for the sector to address the challenges being faced by the sector. Today, I want to focus on how the SCCP has been actively shaping policies in the non-bank microfinance sector, with a particular emphasis on empowering women and creating sustainable financial solutions for non-bank microfinance sector to grow. This sector plays a crucial role in ensuring that women have access to financial services that support their aspiration, their families, and their businesses. Let me begin by highlighting a powerful statistics. In the non-banking microfinance sector, over 70% of the client base is female. This figure clearly testaments to the pivotal role that microfinance institutions play in empowering women economically. Through these institutions, millions of women across Pakistan, they have gained access to credit, insurance, saving, and digital solutions that allow them to lift themselves and their families out of a poverty cycle. So what role does the SCCP play in ensuring that this sector continues to grow and benefit more women? Our role is not just to regulate, but also to encourage innovation, ensure sustainability, and drive inclusion. Our mission, therefore, has been to foster a regulatory environment that enables the microfinance sector to thrive while placing a specific focus on supporting women as both clients as and entrepreneurs. We have focused on crafting policies that make it easier for non-banking microfinance institutions to serve the needs of the Pakistan underserved population. Through our regulatory framework, we have streamlined processes like licensing for new microfinance institutions, as rightly pointed out by Naveed Saab, that we need more institutions, and promoted the development of niche financial products which are designed specifically for women entrepreneurs. These policies, they have allowed microfinance institutions to offer a diverse range of financial services, from microloans that help women start or expand their businesses, to microinsurance products that protect families against economic shocks. Our emphasis is always on gender diversity and also extends to the workforce within the microfinance institutions. We encourage microfinance institutions to adopt inclusive hiring practices, ensuring that women are represented in leadership roles and decision-making positions. One of the major issues that has been highlighted by all the speakers here is undoubtedly the access to finance. We have witnessed three financing avenues which are available to the sector. First is the equity financing of their sponsors, which is limited. Second is the international investors or the lenders, which is an area which is gradually dying segment. And third is the domestic financial institutions that are the commercial banks and the DFIs who don't see a priority area in the form of non-bank microfinance institutions, while the wholesale lender has a limitation of its book size. So an important untapped area that has so far been overlooked by the sector is the capital markets, which is open both for the equity and debt raising. Naveed Saab mentioned about the impact fund. I think what were the issues why it could not sail through? We need to find out the reasons and so that we are in a position to address those limitations or the impediments to the sector. Another example was a gender bond that was raised by one of the microfinance institutions, and the uptake was entirely from the mutual fund sector and the insurance segment. So there is a potential in the market. This is the untapped area. We need to look at these areas. Gradually increasing interest of the sector. Now we have 15 out of around 39 entities which are for-profit entities. The opportunity is open for them to raise equity from the starting point of the PSX GEM board, which is a smaller board requiring only around 25 million of the equity. So that can be explored at the first stage for equity raising. Current regulatory framework for NBFCs promoted best practices in corporate governance and financial transparency. So this not only builds investor confidence, but also fosters a culture of accountability vital for the long-term success in the capital markets. Microfinance companies can also accelerate growth by leveraging Sharia-compliant financing instruments like Sukuk, which has been shown a remarkable growth in Pakistan. We have certified around more than 100 Sukuk instruments valued more than 700 billion rupees. This showcases the sector's huge potential for financing needs and attracting investors. Additionally, the SECP is streamlining the listing process for corporate Sukuk to enable public investments. Tomorrow onward, I think we are having a public hearing on the draft concept papers that we have shared for addressing the limitation or the hindrance in the corporate as well as the sovereign Sukuk. So if you have any comments, you can raise at that point too. These areas provide microfinance companies with valuable opportunities to access capital markets and overcome financial hurdles, ultimately driving sustainable growth and increase financial transparency. So I urge the sector to explore opportunities which are available for financing by tapping the capital markets. In today's rapidly evolving world, technology is transforming the way financial services are delivered, and SECP is at the forefront of promoting digital innovation within the microfinance sector. We recognize that to reach more women, especially in rural or underserved areas, we must leverage technology platform and fintech solutions. This is why we have encouraged MFIs to partner with fintech companies and adopt technologies like digital solutions. We are proud to have fostered these advancements through initiatives like Regulatory Sandbox, which allow fintech innovators to test their solutions within a safe regulatory environment before scaling up. This creates a win-win scenario. MFIs can operate more efficiently and provide seamless access to financial services. Financial inclusion is not just about providing access to financial services. It is about ensuring that women understand how to use these services effectively. At SECP, we place a strong emphasis on promoting financial literacy, particularly among women. We believe that financial education programs are critical to empowering women with the skills and confidence they need to manage their finance and grow their businesses and make informed financing decisions. As we look ahead, SECP will continue to adapt to emerging technologies trend and develop progressive policies that ensure financial services are accessible to everyone. In doing so, we are not only fostering financial inclusion, but also driving Pakistan's overall economic growth. I am confident that with the headship Microfinance Associations, Pakistan Microfinance Network, we can cultivate a financial ecosystem that benefits all Pakistanis, especially the women who are the backbone of our economy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Khalda Habib. Thank you. Please, a round of applause for her. Thank you so much. Much to your disappointment, we are close to serving dinner. Before we do, I would like to very pleased to invite our guest of honor, Mr. Salimullah, the Deputy Governor, State Bank of Pakistan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Very dear Naveed Sahib, Amir Sahib, Rashid Bajwa Sahib, other colleagues, it's a real pleasure to be here. And let me congratulate particularly Mohsin. I can't see him. Yes, he's here for regularly organizing such events, which enables us to have some brainstorming and some stock taking and some soul searching that if we are doing the right things for the growth of the sector. So real kudos and congratulations to Mohsin and his team for regularly organizing such events. So when I was attending the last event in Islamabad, I think about 8-9 months back, there too, I said at the podium that I 100% agree what Mr. Naveed has said. And today, let me say this, I also largely, if not 100%, largely endorse whatever he has said. So we'll have to have that appreciation of the value of the microfinance sector. There is no need to be defensive. But yes, there is a need to be more agile, to be more productive, to have better governance standards, so that we could say with confidence that yes, we are creating value. And let me say this is the sector that is really working for the poor and vulnerable segments, that has that value and that feel and that care and empathy for the vulnerable segments. The very objective of introduction of this microfinance platform was that some institutions should be available who are really taking care of the poor and vulnerable segments. And it is the one that has been doing so not only in Pakistan, but also across the globe. And there have been numerous success stories. Some has been narrated by Naveed Sahib as well. Even in Pakistan, we have achieved a considerable amount of success. Right now, we have about 11 million microfinance borrowers, out of which almost 5 million are the women borrowers. And on top of that, we have more than 100 million deposit accounts. And these deposit accounts of microfinance banks and institutions, these account holders has never been allowed by the commercial sector to have access to their services, even allowed to enter to their branches. So these are such type of people and such segment of the society which has been served by the microfinance industry, and we should really be grateful to the microfinance industry that it has played such a critical role in providing the financial services to this segment of the society. And if you see that till 2020, before the initiation of that pandemic, everything seems to be going pretty fine. The numbers were growing, the portfolios were growing, and everybody was singing the happy songs. And then came the COVID-19, and it has tested, it has given some reality check that probably there is a need to have some assessment, some reassessment of the model that we are pursuing, and particularly the governance system that we are pursuing. As I said, that this is the sector that was created with an objective to take care of the vulnerable segments. But what happened that in the race to expansion, we had that mission drift. And in that mission drift, we compromised our models, our practices with respect to developing a very strong bondage with our clients. That used to be the trademark of the microfinance banks and institutions, that they have very, very strong bondage with their clients. But over the years, in the race towards that expansion and commercialization, let me say this, we weakened that bondage. And due to the weakening of that bondage, when the COVID came, that because the relationship, the bondage had weakened, that resulted into hefty increase in the NPLs and all those things. And then we were again tested by the floods of 2022. And that again highlighted one very important vulnerability in the sector, that in case of such pandemics or such macro level shocks, is there any resilient mechanism? Is there any recourse available to the MFBs and MFIs? There was none. So that's why we saw the MFBs and MFIs struggling in not only with respect to their solvency issues, but also with respect to their liquidity issues, and some face the sustainability issues, the viability issues as well. So the message is very clear that one, we will have to have a mission in perspective. And the mission is that I need to serve this segment with an empathy, with a care in my heart. We don't need, let me say this very boldly, that we don't need commercial investors in the microfinance industry. We need investors having the social heart. We don't need the investors that are interested in making tons and tons of profits from the microfinance sector. We will like the microfinance banks and institutions that they should be sustainable, they should be earning reasonable profits, but the first and foremost objective of the microfinance bank and the MFIs should be, how can I improve the well-being of my clients? If my client's well-being is being improved, then my sustainability could be guaranteed. Then you will be finding many donors, many investors having the social hearts investing in the institutions. So first and foremost thing that I would like to see in the institutions, let's come back to your mission. Your mission is not to be the most profitable company on the stock exchange. Your mission should be that how can I improve the well-being, the income levels, the food, the nutrition levels, the education levels, the health standards of my clientele. And for that purpose, we'll have to see that what sort of model we are pursuing. When I started looking at microfinance 25 years back, at that time I had the introduction to our rural sport program, to NRSP of Rashid Bajwa Sahab at that time. And they were working with that hard, and that had such a pull that yes, we are working for the vulnerable segments and we are earning lots and lots of prayers of these people. So that has to come, that let's have that core objective that we need to work for the well-being of our clientele, which is a vulnerable segment. And as Naveed Saab said, let me repeat, that let's improve our governance systems so that people should not be able to point fingers on us. There are institutions right now available both in the regulated sector as well as in the MFI sector. Both are the regulated by State Bank and the SCCP, where there is a significant need for improvement in the governance standards. So let's have that ability and capacity to better serve our clientele. But this is not the case that everything is to be done by the sector, and the policymakers, including the State Bank and the ICCP, doesn't need to do anything. They have done everything right. No. They have the huge responsibility. And that responsibility is that let's have a regulatory framework that is an enabling one, that is enabling the investor, the players, the microfinance banks and the institutions to operate and to grow and to attract the socially concerned investments. And let's see that how can we help the sector to improve their liquidity levels. It's a huge, huge issue. And unfortunately, we couldn't do much in the last, say, 8-9 months when we met earlier. But let me assure you that we are working very actively on this. And when I have been interacting with the ministry, when I am interacting with the World Bank, ADB, and other multilateral institutions, my key focus has been on creating the liquidity space, particularly for the MFIs. Because MFIs, they don't have access to the deposits, where they would go. So there is a need that we must create that space for the MFIs, that they should be able to access liquidity. And as Khalda Saiba was saying, that 70% of the MFI's clients are women, which is really, really an appreciable thing. Out of total 11 million, 5 million are women, and out of that 5 million, about 2.2 million are from the MFIs, the women clients I'm talking about. So we must create that environment for the MFIs that they should be able to attract liquidity at such terms which enable them to operate sustainably. And for that purpose, we have been having that discussion and interaction, which is at a very advanced stage, let me tell you, both with the World Bank as well as with the ADB, that there is a need to create sort of a credit guarantee facility for the MFIs, based on which the MFIs should be able to raise funding from the commercial banks. Right now, even to access the ADB funding, the MFIs are required to take guarantees from the commercial banks. And I have been told, which hurts me, that the MFIs are giving cash collaterals to have those guarantees. So that is not something which is desirable. That cash collateral is needed to disburse funds to the clients instead of depositing that fund with the bank to get that guarantee. So we are very much positive, inshallah, that that credit guarantee facility will be available for the MFIs. There is also a very advanced level of negotiation, particularly with the World Bank, with respect to this climate resilient facility. Because the lesson that we learned from the 2022 floods has been that there is a need to have some fallback arrangement. And that climate risk resilient facility will be providing that fallback mechanism, that resilience mechanism to the MFBs and to the MFIs. So In addition to this, let me say one or two more, cover one or two more areas with respect to the regulatory framework. We are reviewing the regulatory framework for microfinance banks, and that is again that it has gone through a very detailed consultative process, and we are pretty sure that very soon we will be able to come up with the revised prudential regulations for microfinance banks that will be addressing some of the issues that are being faced by the microfinance banks, particularly with respect to the regulatory framework. So what I mean to say is that there is a need that we should be able to make interventions both at the industry level, whereby the industry could address the issues that it has to address by itself, both with respect to the mission drift, with respect to improving the governance standards, but at the same time, the regulators should be able to ensure the environment whereby the MFBs and MFIs are operating in a more conducive sort of environment and having access to the liquidity. One last thing that I would like to cover is the usage of technology, leveraging of technology. That I had covered in my last interaction as well, that my own dream is that each and every MFB and MFI is operating on a fully digital scale. And that would enable them, one, to exponentially expand their outreach levels. Two, that will enable them to reduce their operational cost. And this is something that the operational cost is an area where MFPs and MFIs find struggling, that one of their major costs, even 12%, 13%, 15%, you would see is the operational cost. So we must see that how can we leverage the technology. I would love to see that each and every MFB and MFI, it is disbursing funds in the wallets. And no cash disbursement is being made. Similarly, all repayments are being made by the client through their wallets. And that will hugely reduce your operational cost and improve the convenience. And now the last thing is, I can see Mr. Kamran Bakshi sitting on just in front of me with respect to the Islamic microfinance. And in Islamic microfinance, let me say this, both the MFBs and MFIs, they have huge flexibility. The banks have some constraints and limitations within which they operate. But the microfinance banks and the microfinance institutions, they have huge flexibility. They can deal in-kind financing. If you are dealing with, say, with your agricultural clients, you can provide them the seeds, the fertilizers, the pesticides, the diesel, and all the inputs that can be provided in kind and based on true Islamic principles. So that is also an area where a comparative advantage is available to the microfinance banks and microfinance institutions. Let me conclude with these words, that we should not be defensive with respect to microfinance. Microfinance sector has played a very important role in improving the financial inclusion, and we believe that it will continue to play. And let me say this finally, that I have seen full ownership of microfinance sector at the highest level, both in the central bank as well as in the ministry, because huge amount of funding has been committed by the government as well to support the microfinance sector. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Salimullah. For the final segment of the evening, I would like to invite the Chairman, Pakistan Microfinance Network, Mr. Amir Khan, please, to hand out mementos to 3 of our speakers who are physically present here today. Mr. Amir Khan, please, a round of applause. Mr. Amir Khan will be handing out a memento firstly to Mr. Naved A. Khan, Chairman, Pakistan Microfinance Investment Company. Round of applause, please, for Mr. Naved A. Khan. We would now like to invite Ms. Khalda Habib to collect her memento. Please, a round of applause for her. And lastly, the memento for our guest of honor, Mr. Salimullah. Thank you all very much. Thank you once again for being so patient. We've had, I think, a wonderful evening, very insightful initial conversations. I personally am looking forward to tomorrow, where we will be visiting the Pakistan Stock Exchange, and the third day as well. So once again, thank you all. Have a wonderful evening, and I believe dinner is served. Thank you and good evening.